Hi there, I'm Mrs McTaggart, and in this video we're going to look at calculating the distance of a journey given your time and your speed. We will also chat about some units of speed and some common decimal times that you need to memorise in order to do the calculations today. Okay, so these are 3 times that you need to know off by heart. A bit like when we teach you percentages, there's certain percentages you need to know as fractions. These are 3 time intervals that you need to know as fractions and decimals. So in a question they can talk about 15 minutes. They can also say that that's quarter of an hour. Okay, so you might say to someone, oh, I'll be quarter of an hour. Now a quarter as a decimal is 0.25. Same way a quarter is 25%, there's a 25 connection again, because 25% as a decimal is 0.25. 30 minutes, you may also say that's half an hour, and you would write that as 0.5. And 45 minutes can also be referred to as 3/4 of an hour, and we write that as 3/4, which is 3 of this one, which is 0.75. Now examples might ask you to talk about going on a journey which is 2.5 hours. We are going to write that as 2.5. Similarly, we might say that it takes 3 hours 45. You would write that as 3 for the whole number of hours and then 0.75 for the decimals. It is never 3.45, okay, because our decimal system is out of tens, hundreds, thousands, whereas time is out of 60 minutes. So 45 minutes is not 0.45, that's just under half. So be very, very careful, try and commit these to memory, okay? And then I don't know if you'll be familiar with these, but just in case, MPH stands for miles per hour. These are the 3 common ones. There are other ones there. km/h is kilometres per hour. And m/s is metres per second, okay? So they are the 3 units of speed that you will see within the questions. Okay, so I think it's really important not to just teach you the formula, because in speed, distance and time, the formula is not given to you. You need to kind of have a way of remembering it, and there is a trick that I'll show you in a later video, but a bit of common sense also works here. So let's have a look at this wee question I want you to think about. If a car can travel at 30 miles per hour, or if a car is travelling at 30 miles per hour, how far would it go in 2 hours? Now, if 1 hour is worth 30, then 2 hours would be worth double that, which would be 60. And what I'm really doing there is I'm timesing both variables by 2. So the sum there I did was 30 times 2. 30 was my speed, 2 was my time. So really this is your formula. You're doing your speed times your time. Now one other thing I would maybe mention to talk about is this here, miles per hour. So if you're going in miles per hour, your answer would be 60 miles. And some people get to the end and don't know what units to put in. It comes back to your speed. So this is your formula. Distance equals speed times time. Okay, so this is where you would probably start writing down if you're following this as a lesson, okay? So first example, I always like to try and make sure we can do them without a calculator as well. So how far does it travel? It's asking for distance, so start with our formula. Distance equals, and we're going to shorten it to speed times time. Our speed is this bit here where it says 70 miles per hour, and our time is 3 hours. So it's 70 times 3. Now the cheat for doing 70 times 3 is you just do 7 times 3 is 21 and add your 0. So our distance is 210. Your speed was mph, so that stood for miles. So the distance this car does is 210 miles. My second example, we're talking about an aeroplane this time that's going at 900 kilometres per hour. And we're going to fly for 3 hours 45. How far are you travelling? So we're looking for the distance of this flight. So distance equals speed times time. Our speed is 900 kilometres per hour. Our time is 3 hours 45. Now remember what I said already, 45 can be written as 0.75 because that is 3/4. So 3 hours 45 would be 3.75. Okay, so it's not 3.45, which is a common mistake. So then you need a calculator for this one, and the calculator will give you an answer of 3,375. And we're talking kilometres this time. Okay, so that's your answer to that one. My final example is about a man who's running for 2.5 hours at an average speed of 12 kilometres per hour. How far did he run? So distance, again, speed times time. Now, on all the other examples, I've given you the speed first and then the time. Do you think it really matters if I get them the wrong way round? Well, when multiplying, it doesn't, does it? So either way, though, I'm going to stick with the speed first. So the speed is this bit here, which is 12 kilometres per hour, times now 2.5 hours, we're going to write as a decimal as 2.5. And just remember, 2 hours 30 is not 2.3, it's 2.5. So can I always try and say it as a fraction first? And then you're going to do 12 times 2.5, which gives you, it gives you 30. And we were talking about kilometres this time, so our distance is 30 kilometres. I wonder, would you know how to do 12 times 2.5 without a calculator? There's lots of different ways of doing it. If you know what 4 times 2.5 is, which is 10, you could then just times it by 3 is 30. The way I do it is I do 12 times 2 is 24. And I do 12 times a half is 6, and then when you add them together you get 30. Now I know this wasn't a non-calculator question, but it could just as well have been if your teacher's trying to push you a wee bit. So there you go. And then at this point, if you wish to, you can pause the video and try these questions. The top row are all ones that I would encourage you to try and do without a calculator. And then the bottom 6 are you're allowed a calculator for them. And then unpause the video and the answers will be here. And these are the answers, so hopefully you got on okay. Thanks very much.